green everything.
All green everything.
My truck is green.
My dick is green.
Just get that looked at. Welcome back.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Tim's dick is green.
No, Jesus Christ, Tom.
Yes, we are a reputable source of breaking news and journalistic integrity. Tim's dick is green.
Tim's dick is green and the scout is back. Welcome back to your favorite episode of your favorite podcast, the Dirt Drive Podcast.
Wow, one beer and you're gone. Done.
So are you.
I didn't start this. I didn't call your dick green. Oh, man, this is why this is never going to work out for us.
Excellent. I love it, though.
As much as I don't want that to be the title of the episode, I feel like that needs to be
Tim's dick is green
and the scout is back.
Done. My wife is going to hate that.
So, yeah, just passed, not future past, just passed.
Just passed.
As of
I've got some editing to do and some,
as
production.
As far as of October 25th, 2024, Volkswagen has officially brought back the Scout name.
Yes, and people don't know it's Volkswagen, which is wild too. So it's kind of hidden information.
Okay.
Well, so it's the whole.
I feel like it's pretty open that it's, but they're doing like what they did with Volvo did with Polestar. It's like a standalone brand, but it's not. Like Polestar exists as Polestar. It's not a Volvo Polestar, but Volvo owns
the Scout is very much backed by Volkswagen.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they're calling it an independent. They're gonna have their own individual dealerships and all that stuff.
Well, right.
But it's a Volkswagen brand. And Volkswagen is the second biggest auto manufacturer in the world.
Right.
So they're just adding another
the VAG
Volkswagen Auto Group.
Yep.
They're just adding another brand to their fleet, and that's what they're doing with EVs. Every company is just like throwing an EV brand in their fleet.
You know why?
Because they're super easy to sell.
They're not.
Well, they don't need dealerships.
They are the only vehicles that they are allowed to sell direct to consumer.
Yep.
And you could thank Papa Musk for that.
Yes.
Because
these EVs are technology, and they're not automobiles.
Because Tesla did not want to franchise third-party dealerships, a lot of the laws in states that allowed Tesla to sell direct to consumer were specifically EV.
Yeah.
So that's why you're
they skirted the NADA laws and the lobbyists.
Right.
But that'll be interesting though, because we're gonna jump right into it. There's gonna be range extending hybrids. So are they still range extending EVs? So
it is still considered an EV, yes.
Even though it's got a gas engine, no transmission, but it's got a gas generator. They're calling it a gas generator on board.
I remember if it was federal or California or both that recently changed the language of what an EV is, and like range extenders and all that stuff are zero emission. They're considered zero emission.
Interesting.
Because whatever percentage they deem it necessary is not producing emissions.
Yeah. And it's still over that 7.
So a lot of your plug-in hybrids qualify as a zero emissions vehicle, which makes them.
Which I do appreciate Ram announced it a few weeks ago, but the Scout is also doing it of the range extending EV.
Yeah.
The Ram 1500 available next year will be a range extending EV. It'll be an EV truck with a gas generator on board.
It's just a reverse hybrid. Instead of having internal combustion propulsion, it's all electric propulsion with a gas engine to charge batteries.
Yeah, which I love.
Yeah.
We've been talking about that for years.
Edison
Motors does it. Trains do it.
So
boats do
when
it.
I was in college in 2012, this was a concept that was talked about as why are we not doing it? And it's a concept that has existed
taken forever.
And it moves 90% of our freight across the world. It's how cargo ships work. It's how locomotives work. Like that, like the giant 28-liter diesel engine in a locomotive or whatever it is, all that thing does is turn a generator to charge electric motors or power electric motors
the trucks on the track
that push that train or pull that train, however you want to look at it.
Yeah, and it'll really advanced in the automobile market when we hit the diesel versions, because diesels are so much more efficient in every capacity than gasoline motors.
But
diesel's big and scary.
I still argue. Well, yeah, that's always the issue. But as exciting as it is as a technology, it is still nowhere near replacing your traditional internal combustion car.
I agree.
The EV craze has dramatically slowed down in the last 6 months, as the rest of the world finally is going, oh, wait a minute, this doesn't actually work. And these cars are stupid expensive.
Yeah. But that's the nice thing about the Scout is the predicted price. It will start at $50.
Yeah, but that's still
the entry level price.
That's still well above the average internal combustion sale price.
Not for trucks and SUVs. Trucks and SUVs are starting at
that average sale price,
40s and 50s.
That average sale price though is across all vehicles. It's not specifically cars. So the current price of an internal combustion truck really runs up that average number, and that number is still like 36 and change, where the average EV price is like 48 and change.
But if you're comparing I can't remember what they call it. I think one's the Terra. We pull it up on your phone.
Oh, you mean
the Scout? The Scout names.
Yeah, you mean the Terra R1S or R1T?
Ooh, getting right into it. So
that's
what Tom's alluding to is
the greatest meme that you've ever sent.
I broke this to him because I was on top of it because I had a very slow day at work.
I did not have a slow day at work, so basically my entire news break was the meme.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh shit, did they finally announce the Scout?
So I was on my web homepage, which is just
what was I pulling up again?
The website, the Scout website.
Oh, okay.
So I was on my web homepage getting ready to click on like a work link that I follow to use a portal that we use. And on that web homepage, it's like MSNBC, whatever it is, there was the Scout is released. And I'm like, what the fuck? So
Scouts always come back. That's their tagline.
So I stopped what I was doing at work and I opened Twitter because it's the best source of news for anything.
I mean,
it really is.
That episode comes out later, but at this point, because the world may or not. This episode will definitely be heard because this episode will be coming out before the election. That's a call forward.
This will be the last episode before the election.
Oh, this could be our last episode ever.
Oh,
spoiler!
Is it? Yeah, because the election day is the F-bomb overland day.
Yeah. Anyway,
but yeah, so I stopped.
God, it does look good though.
I ignored my work responsibilities and I opened Twitter.
As any good car guy would.
And yeah, of course. And Twitter went right into the drama. And the first thing I saw is the meme you see on page if you're watching the video. It's Fry.
Yeah, from Futurama.
From Futurama. And it is the Rivian R1S or R1T, and then the
Terra. It's the
Terra.
The Traveler. So it's gonna be it's Scout Motors is the official name. It's not a Volkswagen Scout. It's Scout Motors.
Yep, it's its own individual brand, but it's just
the SUV is the Traveler, and the pickup truck is going to be the Terra.
So the first thing I saw was
that SUV looks so good.
It does. The first thing I saw when I opened Twitter, literally I saw the thing on the webpage, then I opened Twitter, and it was the first message I sent in the group chat. Wow, Rivian really sold out. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, but is this legitimate?
This is legitimate news. So go to Google since you're Googling.
I'm trying to scroll, but it just keeps forwarding the animation. This website it's so bad. It's awesome though because like that looks good. It's a
good looking truck.
You probably can't see it from all the way back there, but
link to the website is in the bio. If you use code DirtDrive, you don't save any money.
No affiliation.
No affiliation yet. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But so immediately, the first thing I see is the release, and it says, "Wow, Rivian really sold out." And I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?"
They did the split hatch.
I know it's so, but that's the Rivian thing.
Yeah, I mean that's also a European SUV thing. Land Rover's done it, but
so let me tell my story.
No, I can't. I'm scrolling.
So back in July, Rivian and Volkswagen entered a partnership to advance their EV technology. Today, you saw Rivian take that technology, morph the body a little bit on both vehicles, and re-release in 2027 the R1S and the R1T. They are literally spitting images with a little bit of shit changed. So July, the announcement was
this is interesting.
there was a $5 billion contract between Rivian or Volkswagen injected $5 billion into Rivian because I think Rivian's still currently losing almost $40,000 per vehicle as they sell. Rivian's taking a loss. That's what the article I read said.
Where are you reading these things?
That's
Because the first article on Google right now is credit the Autotopian. The headline is, "You're wrong if you think the Scout is just like a Rivian." That was posted 10 hours ago. Hate to poke holes in your story.
They're pretty close.
I
mean, just look at the body lines. The body lines match up.
The SUV is unique enough that I do not see it. The truck looks like a clone.
Yeah. But so back in July, Rivian and Volkswagen entered a $5 billion deal where Rivian got $1 billion up front, and then the rest of the $4 billion was to come in a contract that I can't remember. But I didn't read too far into it because I was trying to work. But what it looks like is the blueprints were handed over.
Nope. This is the third article. Visual similarities are certainly there, but the Scout's trucks actually function. But how the Scout's trucks actually function couldn't be more different than Rivian EVs.
Okay.
On the technical end, the Rivian twins are powerhouses, referring to the R1T and the R1S. But both are constructed in a way that is a lot different compared to the EVs and modern cars in general. It's a unibody design, meaning it doesn't use a traditional truck frame that rides on a battery and electric motors. It may look like a truck on the outside, but it is more car-based, which everyone knew.
The Scout is body on frame, also anticipated to have a solid rear axle, which is super cool.
It is real benefit for off-roading, everything you just said. It has a bunch of mechanical goodies, so it is nothing like a Rivian. It may be the fact that Volkswagen has dumped money into Rivian, but these are not the same truck.
But the partnership is to enhance Volkswagen's EV technology and give Rivian more money to grow into the brand that they can be.
The Scouts are fitted with a solid rear axle,
which is awesome. And it's not a Driveshaft axle. It's got that EV motor on it that the EV motor is mounted to the
front
axle.
and rear mechanical differential lockers. Disconnecting sway bars. So it's basically a Jeep.
Yeah, it's cool. I think they're really cool.
Feature a load of mechanical buttons within the interior, so it will not have just the touchscreen layout,
which is very nice.
I mean, they may be borrowing some like motor and battery technology from Rivian, but all that's borrowed from everyone else.
Well, and
anyway.
the other thing that I have to say is Volkswagen EVs. I mean, it's the second biggest brand or second biggest auto conglomerate in the world.
Yeah,
their EV technology is excellent. It's not probably not quite as good as Tesla because Tesla is the leaders in EVs, but it's probably second best. And I think that the Scout with the backing up of the VAG is going to be a very good vehicle.
All right, so I found the article you were referring to where they talk about Volkswagen dumping is $5 billion into Rivian. However, VW did come out and say that they are going to revive the Scout brand despite that $5 billion deal. So, I mean, time will tell when they're actually like on hand, but it's a completely different animal. It's even if the technology is shared to some extent,
which I think it will be, but probably not as much as I originally thought. Like I said, I haven't done much. The research that I done was the meme.
So this is gonna get
a little bit of.
This is going to get real nerdy here. The big distinguishing body line that really stands out as matching the Rivian, especially on the truck, is that corner cut of the rear window.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I got.
So fun fact, that is a actual like noted design cue that goes back to like this. I think it's the 50s in BMW. It's called the Hofmeister Kink.
Wow.
Yeah,
Dirt nerds for a reason.
that was
That's what they called me in high school.
a Dirt Nerd or a Hofmeister Kink.
The Hofmeister Kink. It's the name of my. It's the name of my ska band.
So I had an unhealthy obsession with 80s BMWs.
I think you still do.
Yeah, I definitely still do. I just don't own one currently, thank God. But there was a, I forget the exact details of it, but there was a designer BMW who determined if he cut the corner of the back window off, the proportions of like the A, the B, and the C, and the D pillars, whatever it was, just were more visually appealing to having that edge and that corner cut off. So
the Hofmeister Kink, if you will.
It became a signature of his designs, which carried BMWs through. And if you look to this day on the BMWs, their rear windows will come down along with the roofline and the rearmost pillar, and then they just either go straight down or they come swooping back in. And if you look, there's a lot of cars, and it's just visually appealing when you look at the profile of the car. And cars that you go, wow, that looks good, pay attention to that little bottom corner of the rear window. It may more than likely will have that little edge. That is very prominent on the Rivians.
Very prominent on the Scout.
And it is almost identical on the Scout.
Yeah.
And it's like but to me, that detail is the immediate, that's it. Like that makes it look like a Rivian. And I think it's just the subconscious connection of EV pickups.
Yeah. Well, I think that the shape of the contour of the door is similar. The angle of the layback of the windshield and the roof lines are very similar. On
it's such it's such a pronounced design cue on the Rivian that to be that pronounced on the Terra makes it seem like it's definitely on purpose.
Yeah.
Which it may be. What did? Because Wookie texted me about it, and I sent him the meme, which you can't see from there, but
it's right here.
He sent me the link from Car and Driver, and I said I like it. It was teased a couple weeks ago. I said even though the truck is a Rivian copy, and he goes, I noticed that too. Definitely looks cool. Wait, are they not actually the same? I thought you were serious that they were sharing a design. And I said, I haven't seen anything confirming it's rebranding or purposely copied, which, based on what we just read, it sounds like they're not just rebranding a Rivian.
It's got some very similar design cues.
But his response was, if it's not, that's some weird Chinese copyright disregarding. And it really is. Like, when you look at them side by side, it's like scary similar.
Yeah.
But when you start looking at the details, it's not.
Yeah.
And like,
the thing that impresses me is they will be the first full EV with a solid axle.
They'll be the only one. They'll be the only EV that's not on a unibody skateboard model.
By the time it comes out in 2027, you'll have a full EV Wrangler.
I disagree.
It'll be an option.
Wholeheartedly.
You'll have an option for a full EV Wrangler.
Which
will have a solid.
Wholeheartedly disagree with you.
That's fine. We disagree. We will continue to disagree on this until I'm right.
Okay.
But it will be the only solid axle EV, which is huge, and like for the off-roading community, it means the world.
Oh yeah.
Like I will consider buying one.
Sure.
When I get paid,
it's still a novelty.
I got paid on Wednesday. I understand. Like just like the truck, just like the Rivian, I think they're all novelties.
So that's where I start to disagree with you, because I think the Rivian is one of the first EVs that showed, hey, you can have a normal car that's an EV.
I think that's the Polestar for me. I think the Polestar
I would put the Polestar in the same category. Teslas were definitely the ones that paved the way for it, but there's a stigma around owning a Tesla for sure.
Yeah, it's because of who owns the company.
Yeah, but it's also like they're just the original EV. Like I know this is a controversial thing, and like most of this is my opinion, but it's also
the whole point of a podcast.
True, but it's also like there are, I don't want to say facts because it's not really facts. There are trends that are emerging now, like this year, like in mid 24, that we're seeing like people essentially have either bought EVs and gone, this is dumb, This doesn't work for me. Whatever it is, it's not worth the maintenance. It's not worth the money. It's not worth the headache. I don't like charging. I can't charge at home. Whatever it is, and they're either getting out of it, or the people who want it and use it and need it have it.
Yeah.
And the people who aren't going to buy one aren't going to be, their minds aren't going to be changed anytime soon.
Yeah, for me, it's like the appeal of it for me is the overland capability. And by 2027, I hopefully will have a family.
Yeah, but
I'll need more space in my 2-door.
So from an overland capability,
it's the space.
But would you argue that the Scout Traveler is more capable than a 4Runner or the new Land Cruiser?
Which one's is that the truck?
Toyota
is the travel
SUV.
The SUV.
The Traveler is the SUV.
It's the same capability, but I also like the ability.
I would argue it's more capable because you don't have to charge it.
Fair. Yeah, you get what the 4Runner is?
Yeah, so you're to go into a full EV from an overland standpoint that's independent front suspension with a solid rear axle and mechanical lockers.
But for the type of
pick a Bronco, pick a Jeep,
for the type of overlanding and adventure wheeling trips that we do, we're not going more than 600 miles on a weekend. I just did a full.
But here's what you're not factoring into that is it's not, when you're talking battery, it's not about mileage, it's about runtime. So
see, this is where I have to default to you because I've literally got
right.
I've never driven an EV.
So
I've never driven a full EV.
You remember I don't know 4 or 5 years ago we had the freak snowstorm where people got trapped on 95
and they were hauling Teslas off because the batteries weren't lasting.
Right, because people were parked running their heat, running their radio, draining their batteries. So yeah, you might only be going 2 miles an hour, but that 2 miles an hour is a full hour. So your 350-mile range is based on you doing 55 miles an hour for an hour. So yeah, you're consuming less on propulsion, but your range will go down the slower you go.
I think with overlaying the way it's going to affect us when it comes in, when that truck is actually available in 27, is we will be doing much more soft roading to cool campsites with family rather than long driving days in the middle of camping. So I think that will serve that need. It'll also be a good commuter too.
I think so that this is just me, and I don't want to say anti-EV because EVs have their place. And it's not that the Scout wouldn't work for some people. This is not a Jeep, right?
Oh, yeah.
It is a Jeep. It's a full-frame vehicle with solid axles. Like that, it's going to have phenomenal off-road capability, but it is not. It is a weekend warrior. It is I'm going to wake up in the morning, load the family up, go run up flagpole, and go home.
Yeah, or go run a flagpole, camp at flagpole, and go home the next day.
But even then, like that's a risk.
I don't think so.
You're gonna.
I think that the Scout will be the first vehicle that is actually like a true off-roader EV. You'll see it'll impact the market more than the Rivian did.
But you can give it whatever suspension and axles and mechanical lockers you want, make it much more serviceable. It doesn't change the fact that you can't carry most people can't carry a spare battery.
But that's where the range extended EV comes in. You get an extra 150 miles out of a gas tank.
Sure.
Which gets you to the next nearest town where you camp for the night or get a hotel.
But now it's an $80,000 vehicle.
But then you camp for the night and get a hotel. Fucking anything's an $80,000 vehicle.
Right.
Which is where like if you want a capable regular right off the lot.
You're still having major limiting factors in what you can do, because as you go deeper and deeper into the overlanding side of it, right? Like it's not more capable in the sense than a 4Runner. Your limiting factor is going to be charging stations and time, right? Like I personally don't want any road trip, whether it's off-road or highway or whatever, to involve a 2-hour pit stop to charge every 3 hours.
I don't think it will, because in a good day of overland, like you're doing 25 miles an hour.
Have you ever? So
Let me continue my thought. So you're doing 25 miles an hour. So if you're wheeling for 6 hours, it's 150 miles. You're not wasting your battery. If you decide to stay at hard sites where there's plugins for RVs, so you could do a hard site, do 2 soft sites, and then go to a hard site again. So you get 2 days remote camping, 300 miles.
Okay.
You're well within your range.
Yep.
And you have a hard site on either end, full charge.
What happens? What happens when KOAs and hard sites and state parks, whatever it is, don't allow EV charging because of the power consumption, because their grid can't handle it.
Cross that bridge when you get there. But that
bridge is there.
They also
that
have
exists.
They have the full 50 amp RV hookups.
Right. But when you have 200 RVs, that grid cannot support a DC fast charge.
So, but you don't have to do a DC fast charge because you can do your 120 volt plug-in over 8 hours. That still gives you a full charge. You're camping for 8 hours. You're parked for 8 hours overnight.
Most EVs are not charging at 120 volts in 8 hours.
I'd have to look into it, but I think that the capability is there for
your
it.
220 is like an 8-hour charge. But again, that's requiring you to charge every day. So now you're also taking.
I don't think it's every day. So that's what I'm saying. If you do 150 miles a day, that's 300 miles of range.
That's assuming you're on flat ground with no weight.
Speculate. I think it's all speculation.
It's not speculation.
I think it will do considerably better than you think.
No, it's not about better or worse. It's a thing, right? Motor Trend did a road trip with Rivians when they first came out. It's a documented thing on YouTube. You can go watch it.
Yeah. They did the Trans-American Trail, didn't they?
Part of it, yeah. Well, there's question of how much of the Trans-American Trail they actually did because they had to get off the trail constantly to go charge. Right? So it's not that it can't be done. It's to the point of what part of it is inconvenient to you as the end user. Yeah. And for me personally, and I know I'm not the only one that feels this way about it, your 150 miles that you would do in a 6-hour day of trails at 25 miles an hour, you are not going to get optimal range out of your EV battery in those conditions, right? So that peak range, that 350 mile range, and this is across the board on every EV
at highway speeds,
is cruising on as flat possible at a constant speed, limiting acceleration, limiting power consumption in whatever factor.
Yeah, it's just like your EPA standard for your fuel mileage in your
you're
truck.
overlanding, as you enjoy doing in your 2-door Jeep. You have two Milwaukee batteries charging off the Jeep while you're driving because you're going to record a podcast when you get to camp. You have your phone charging, playing music. You have your iPad for mapping, charging. You're going up and down hills. You're stopping to take pictures of something. That where your Jeep would normally sit and idle to power everything, your
range extended EV, flip the engine on, have it idle and charge everything back up while you're stopping.
But we're talking EVs here, right? So I get
Scout
what you're saying.
Is the range extender.
I get what you're saying.
And I would not buy a Scout unless it was the range extender.
But I would be very curious to see the technology of said range extender, because 5 minutes of range extender running is not going to add. You're not going to get a mile a minute.
No,
out
I
of
agree.
that.
I agree.
So
my county work car is a
probably a plug-in
Mitsubishi
hybrid.
plug-in
Outlander.
Outlander.
Yeah.
It takes about a full day of driving to get 60 miles of range out of it. And a full day of driving is like...
Oh, for it to charge up to 60 miles.
Yeah, for it to charge up. And that's running on... That's the engine running the whole time.
Stop and go.
Yeah.
Right, so you're getting some regen out of it. Like, there's a lot... I fully understand that there are multiple factors to this range use and charging. And until you do it with your setup, you will never know what you can get out of it. But I will argue this till I'm dead, or until EVs actually become useful. You can put whatever number you want as best range, and it will never apply to anybody's day-to-day.
Correct. I agree with that 100%.
The F-150 Lightning. We got 500 miles. Hook a trailer up, 120.
Not even 120.
Right. Like, I towed an empty single-axle enclosed trailer to New Jersey in my diesel. It's 220 miles. It would have taken me 2 days to go 220 miles in an F-150 Lightning. because I would have had to, because I had an empty trailer that weighs maybe 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
In a full size truck. So you put your tent, you put your family, you put your dogs, you put your coolers, your fridge, your roof rack. You put all this in there, and you go up and down mountains over rocks. You engage 4-wheel drive, more load on your system. You are never going to see 300 miles of range off road. 0% chance.
I am arguing the fact that it will bring EVs into off-road more than anything on the market currently.
I disagree.
The Scout? You don't think the Scout's gonna break that barrier a little bit?
Nope. I think if I'm honest, as much as I like it, this does not mean disliking it. I think it's going to fall flat on its face.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Yeah. The EV market doesn't appeal to enthusiasts.
They try to though.
They've been
trying very hard.
Well, and that's what this is. This is
Volkswagen trying to capitalize on a old brand they can bring in back.
I think they missed it. If they come out 2 years ago, I think it sells like hotcakes.
Oh, when they came out with the Gladiator.
Not even that. I think the EV bubble is burst.
What was the other one? There was another EV that just hit the market that's a truck that looks really cool. It's a single cab.
Oh, like the Atlas or whatever it is?
Yeah, it's like the Marty McFly truck with the... Yeah. I think that's also a very niche thing, yeah.
Yeah, they're not even building those cars. They're just taking investment money. Like, I think that's going to be a big Ponzi scheme.
That's good.
Actually, I'm pretty sure they
were doing that with the DeLorean too, weren't they? Weren't they going to bring the DeLorean back as an EV and with new old stock bodies, which is cool because the DeLorean was new old stock bodies.
I don't know if it was a partnership or if it was an ownership thing, but that Atlas brand, I think it's Atlas or something along those lines. I'm pretty sure was partnered with Hoonigan at one point. So
and we saw what happened with them.
Yeah, check another one off that list.
Yeah,
but. I will happily go on record right now. The EV bubble is bursting, more shrinking than bursting. I don't see a mass off-roader appeal to it. I think there are plenty of guys who don't off-road that have Jeeps that will go. My grandpa had a Scout,
yeah,
and we'll go buy one because it's the Scout name and it's the cool latest car on the road, just like people brought Broncos and that Bronco thing has cooled down. Like it's the next thing. It's cool. I think they're too late. I think they're way too late to the market.
I think the time frame is late too. They'll release the concept in 2024. It'll be 3 years before you can buy one.
And my argument to that is they are recognizing that the EV bubble is bursting, and they went, if we don't announce this, nobody's going to even know about it in 2027.
Yeah. The things that I'm impressed with this are the range extender. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to finally see that in a production EV, which we're seeing in the Ram.
Sure.
They're doing it in the Ram.
I don't think it's necessarily that exciting. I don't think it solves the problem.
It doesn't solve the problem, but it puts a Band-Aid on it, and it makes it a little bit better.
But again, that concept exists in a plug-in hybrid.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So now you're just making it more difficult. Well, I shouldn't say that. You're sufficing the fact that you're not going to just run out of battery one day, right? But you're also not. You're still limiting yourself. Like, until the infrastructure follows, no version of any electronic or electric propulsion is going to be full mainstream.
Agreed. The other thing that I'm excited about is finally someone's doing a solid axle EV, which is cool. It's also but in the same.
I'll refer you back to older episodes where you think solid axle are dumb, and even Jeep's getting away from solid axle.
Well, so this the solid axle in the rear of an EV is cool, and I think that
I like that they're making it a real car and having mechanical parts.
Yes,
that to me,
that when the Jeep goes EV, because they will.
I'm telling you. So you remember how?
But it's paving the way for Jeep to go EV because they're doing a solid rear axle and they're doing IFS in conjunction.
We did
which is what the Jeep will do.
I disagree.
I know you do. We will have this argument till we were blue in the face.
Because here's what it comes down to. The only reason Jeep as a company exists right now is the Wrangler as we know it, right? That is the only reason it exists.
Yeah, Stellantis hates the Chrysler brands.
Well, but everybody has, right?
Chrysler's probably the most bought and sold company ever. Bought and sold automobile company.
That'd be an interesting thing to look at.
They're probably
in modern times. Yeah, I would agree.
How many times has Chrysler been, or the AMC Chrysler?
In our lifetime, it's technically 5,
and that's since the 90s.
Yeah,
and it was bought and sold. At least the Jeep brand was bought and sold.
Right, because they were independent. They were independent. Then they were Daimler. Then they were like Daimler was bought up by Mercedes, and then they went back to being independent as far as Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, and then Stellantis.
Yeah,
and then
but then
it was FCA, it was Fiat, and then FCA Chrysler America was bought by merged but bought by Peugeot, creating Stellantis.
Yeah, and that's not including the four
AMC,
more times that
Kaiser.
Jeep was bought and sold.
Right.
So yeah,
before it was part of the Chrysler family.
Agreed.
So that's what I'm saying is
the Jeep brand has been bought and sold more than any other automotive brand.
Right. And at the end of the day, like Stellantis is going to kill Dodge entirely. Ram, they've ruined it, but the in America, full-size trucks will always reign supreme. So
even though the
Rams will always exist.
Rams are the worst selling full-size trucks.
But that's because Stellantis overpriced them, the same way they overpriced Jeeps. So like, you will see the Grand Cherokee will go away. They got rid of the Cherokee and they're bringing the Cherokee back. Fucking dumb. Like, they just can't make up their minds. Like, Stellantis is destroying it. And I do agree if they stay with Stellantis, they will destroy the Wrangler nameplate with it as well.
By making a full EV.
I argue Stellantis will offload Jeep specifically.
The Chrysler family has offered to buy the Chrysler brands back.
Right.
And they were told, fuck off.
That's right. Because Jeep still makes them so much money specifically because of the Wrangler. The new Grand Cherokee, crap. The new Compass is crap.
And Stellantis,
the 4xEs are crap.
Stellantis will kill the Wrangler by making it full EV.
Right. Like right now,
are you agreeing with me that Stellantis is going to kill the Wrangler by making it a full EV?
No. Because the only thing keeping it alive is it as it exists.
But the fanboys will always buy the Wrangler, no matter what it is. They don't care about the enthusiast.
I disagree.
They don't care about the enthusiast.
But that's my point, is the fanboy will keep the old Wrangler. That's what we're seeing now, right? The JL sales have died off, and
because we're coming up on 10 years of the JL very soon.
I mean, 5 years from now, but yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to see a redesign coming out soon. We just got the grill redesign. Yeah, but we're going to see the full ladder frame redesign here soon.
27, I think, is what it's slated.
They're going to release the concept in probably late 25.
So this is, I don't know if you actually saw this or not, since we're getting a little off topic on the Scout, but the 25 model year, I guess it's going to be, or 25 model year, will only, like, if you want the V6 Wrangler, it's only available with a manual transmission.
I don't think we've talked about that on air, but yeah.
But so frankly, if you want a good trail rig and you're willing to spend the money now, go buy yourself a V6 manual JL, because they're going to be dirt cheap, because no dealer is going to want them. They're going to fucking sell those. They're going to have to sell those things for under 30 grand.
And they finally figured out the Pentastar V6, where it's actually a good motor now. Better than it was in the early time. No? Is it worse?
Lifter, rocker, tick.
I thought they fixed that.
Starting to pop up on 18s and 19s.
Damn, son.
Yep. And oil filter adapter housings still cracking and leaking.
Damn, son.
Yep. And that's why the V6 is being discontinued.
Because they don't want to make it better. They're just
2-liter turbo. Well, and they're going to get the 3-liter twin turbo.
Yeah.
Is the replacement. But they have
Hurricane.
So many V6 manual drivetrains laying around that they're only selling them because they suck at selling cars and making cars and marketing cars.
And that's why the new hot thing will be the EV Wrangler coming 2027.
It will be a different model.
Well, we saw the Recon.
The Recon, right?
Yeah,
and that's my point is they already know they cannot put the Wrangler nameplate on a full EV. They know they cannot do that.
I think they will, though.
They won't.
You saw with the Mustang. You saw with every other cool brand.
Yeah. And look how that worked out.
Horribly.
Ford built a $7 billion factory. It's at 20% capacity. They cut their production of the F-150 Lightning in half. Their planned production, they cut it in half 1 year after the release of the vehicle because nobody wants it.
So do you think the Scout even makes production?
No.
Or they just get the hype?
I honestly, I will be amazed if it goes beyond one model year. Owls.
I think it was a
Or
Coyote.
a fox. Probably a fox.
Coyote fox. God, that always freaks me out.
Foxes, yeah, foxes are creepy.
I think that since they have the backing of Volkswagen, and
It'll get produced.
It'll get produced.
It'll definitely
for a
get
while.
produced.
It'll get produced for a while. I think it's 3 to 5 years is what you'll see.
I don't, because like I said, I think they're late to the EV market already with it. If we were talking about this as even a 26 model year, if these things were supposed to be delivered by the end of next year, people would buy them. You're talking about you got to wait 2 full years, which means prototypes are maybe being built as we're talking. Maybe.
Which you're right, they're not being built in the Rivian factory because it's a completely different vehicle. It's body on frame.
Correct.
So
they're not Rivians.
They're not Rivians.
They're definitely not Rivians.
So they're not. The prototypes are not being built in the Rivian factory. They're supposed to be.
They may have poached a Rivian designer to help design the truck.
Volkswagen, or the article I read said they're going to be built in South Carolina. They're going to be full American-made EVs built in South Carolina
Because nobody else in the world would be dumb enough to buy one.
That's assuming that they have a plant already. We're going to have to build a plant in South Carolina to build these trucks.
There's a bunch of like BMW and I believe Hyundai.
Hyundai
Have South Carolina, so there may be infrastructure there for that already.
Just buy a building.
I keep forgetting we're on video.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. Stir the fire.
It's not a very good video.
I was going to say, honestly, all they can probably see is the fire and the shit boxes behind us.
But what's better than that? Nobody actually wants to see us.
If
I'm wrong, leave it in the comments.
I don't know. I will be pleasantly surprised because I am with you. I do think it is a cool vehicle. I think
it's a cool vehicle. It's a cool concept, and I think it's going to change the off-road market a little bit.
Nope. That's where I disagree with you like wholeheartedly because it's not going to do well enough to change anything. And frankly, according to you, it is a backwards technology because you keep saying the Wrangler, the forefront of off-road standard in vehicle right now, is going to go independent front suspension and EV or independent full suspension and EV. That's not like I don't see I don't see antiquated technology and frankly a bad EV. At the end of the day, when you compare like the benefit of an EV, commuting, lack of fuel, like my 9 to 5 sitting in traffic on my way into DC, that's the benefit of a DC or of a EV. You're not going to get any of that with a Scout. It's a trail rig with an electric motor. Like that's why would you spend the same money on that when you can go buy a Rivian that has way better technology, way more comfortable, way faster? Like why?
Yeah. That's a good point. I'm still going to put a deposit down on one and just see what happens. It's $100.
Go for it.
If it turns out to be a good vehicle, I'll pull the trigger.
Well, and that's the Papa Musk model is crowdfund it with pre-orders.
Yeah.
Because now you can go to your investors and go, oh, look, we got 150,000 pre-orders. And when it actually comes time to deliver them, they're only going to sell 10,000 of them.
Yeah.
And hopefully they don't do what Papa Musk did and put out a shit product, which I don't think they will because, like, Volkswagen does know how to actually build a car.
Yeah, they do.
Like, Tesla, for whatever reason, still can't figure out how to build a quality vehicle.
Even
and yet people keep buying them.
Selling hundreds of thousands of them.
Yeah. Is it quite that much?
Yeah,
all across all the models.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't sold 100,000 Cybertrucks.
No.
I'm talking
I saw one in traffic today, and I'm like, what the fuck is this thing?
You know,
I want a whistle and diesel one.
This is going to be a full side quest. You know, as a kid watching Gone in 60 Seconds when he launches Eleanor over the tow truck, and every time you see a rollback with the bed down, you want to jump it. Every time I see a Cybertruck, I want to jump the Cybertruck.
Well, you could drive over that tonneau cover.
Yeah, if I'm in the shop Jeep, I could totally drive over that. Yeah, I don't see it doing well, which I think would be I truly believe it'll be a shame because I think it is the coolest EV.
Yeah.
I say that like I really do think it is a cool EV. I just think I think they missed the bubble. I think they're not going to appeal to non-off-road people, and I don't think there's enough off-road people who think it's a cool.
Yeah. There's going to be more people buying Ineos Grenadiers than there will be people buying Scouts.
I agree.
Because the Grenadier is a better product.
Because the Grenadier understands the market.
Yeah.
Building a solid axle, solid frame vehicle as an EV just shows you don't understand the market.
The Grenadier is also a self-funded billionaire that decided to make this car.
Right.
And it's not some... And the Grenadier isn't backed up by any big auto manufacturer.
And
it is a self-funded billionaire.
Right. And he built prototypes 5 years ago and has been testing them and demoing them for 5 years, and they're now in production. Like, this is... Hey, we put out a press release of a bunch of AI-generated animated videos and photos on dirt roads. Buy our shit.
Yeah. I'm still excited for it. I'm still very excited for the Scout.
I wouldn't say I'm excited for it. I think it's cool.
I think it's innovation with the solid axles and the ladder frame, and
it's not innovation. It's literally the exact opposite of innovation.
But for the EVs, it's innovation because you don't see a solid axle or solid frame and ladder frame EV. But
for a reason,
because the weight and all. Yeah, I get that.
Right. So you're taking something that already kind of doesn't work
and making
it harder to make work. All you're doing is adding instant torque to a Jeep. That's all you're doing. And like. Again,
paving the way for the Jeep.
Cool. I'll tell you what. If they sell 500,000 Scouts, then you are probably right. The Jeep will go EV. It will stay solid axle, but it will go EV.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to go that way.
We'll see. What do you guys think? Leave us a note in the comments. That was a good tie-in. What do you guys think? Leave us a note in the comments. Are you guys excited?
Knowing our listeners, I think I win this argument.
You usually do.
I am kind of educated on the.
No, you are things. With your little Hitler cut or whatever it was called. Your
Hofmeister cut. That has nothing to do with EVs. It's a design.
It's just you being more educated.
That's art.
It's art.
It's art. It's art. What's the?
I don't like this.
No, what was the TikTok trend? Shitbox. Shitbox.
What do you guys think? Is this going to do as well as I hope it's going to do, or is it going to be a flop like Tom thinks?
I'm trying to do well. Fucking plug. No, fuck the poll. I wanted to do well. I just don't think it will.
I think it's going to do well.
I don't.
I think it's going to attract the off-roaders a little bit that want a little more capable EV.
I'm excited for more of this stuff to come out and get the temperature of it on the rest of the car world, not necessarily the off-road world.
I do think that in the next 2.5-3 years, something's going to beat it to the market.
I also disagree with that. I think the big three in America are getting away from EVs. That is a known thing currently. EVs are slowing down.
I think something's going to still beat it to the market with a solid rear axle, range extending EV, which it is. It's the Ram. The Ram is going to beat it.
The automotive sales market is in trouble.
It's in decline. You haven't seen anything like it. This country is in decline. I can't do a Trump.
Yeah, you can't. Paging Shane Gillis.
I need to talk about the automotive market like Trump.
Without being overly political about it, I think the election in 2 weeks.
It is.
Plays
5 days from today. This comes out on Thursday.
Oh shit, you're right. Sorry. 5 days. The election next week will play a huge role. Well, I shouldn't even say that because the election has nothing to do with it.
Would you say it's going to play a huge role? It's going to be bigly. It's gonna affect the market bigly.
This is how I'll phrase this because I don't think the election will have anything to do with it. The reaction to the election will have a huge impact on all things EV.
Say it right.
Huge. Huge.
Huge.
Huge.
I also agree.
And I say that mostly in the fact that if it is, regardless of the outcome, if it is a, I'll say, neutral to positive public reaction to the outcome,
Neither reaction is going to be neutral to positive.
I disagree, but we're not going to get into that part of that conversation on air.
You think that there's a silent majority?
I think there's a large silent majority, which, yeah. And I think if there's, we'll say, general acceptance, I think things will normalize and stabilize regardless of.
And
the
winner. I think that wrong podcast. Mm-hmm. I think the media is helping us normalize it already.
I agree, but not as much as they should.
Not as much as they should, but they are starting to.
Yeah, because it's now.
I haven't seen CNN say some of this shit in a very long time.
Well, because it's now a week out, and they're going, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, wrong podcast.
Wrong podcast.
Where
Let me try and do this again. Let us know what you think about the new Scout.
You're wrong.
That being wrong.
Wrong.
Fake news.
Wrong. It's not even a real vehicle. It's never going to see production.
We can't.
China's building it. It's not even going to actually be built in the U.S. It's all Chinese parts.
This being said, we can't do good impressions of either candidate.
No, but you get the point.
But you get the point. Please, please, please. I did not get a chance to say this in any other episode. Please go vote. Take your family, take your friends.
And do not buy the Scout.
I'm still trying to do a plug to get people to go vote. Take your family, take your friends.
No.
You saw Jimmy Carter vote.
No.
If he can vote, you can grab.
No, don't take your family. Don't take your friends. Just go vote for yourself and encourage your friends to go vote for themselves.
Correct.
Yes.
Make the decision you think is correct for us.
Preferably your living relatives.
Yes, not Jimmy Carter.
He's still. He didn't die yet.
Have you seen the pictures of him?
He just turned 100.
That motherfucker's almost dead.
He just turned 100.
Yeah, he's almost dead.
That's why they had to get his vote in before he kicked it.
Did you see the pictures of him? They're like, he was so excited to vote. He's sitting here like this. He was so excited to vote.
This podcast has gone completely off the rails.
That's okay.
Might be our best episode yet, though. They do better when they go off the rails.
Yes. So I will say our plug is we endorse free speech and we endorse the Second Amendment. Take that in which direction you will.
And internal combustion.
And internal combustion.
For life. Gasoline forever.
Yes.
Fry burger.
Correct. So leave us. I've tried to say this 16 times now. Leave us know what you think. Make sure you go vote. Like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends.
I can't wait to hear all the things about how dumb I am.
I hope so. I hope that the Jeep goes full EV in the next 5 years.
Okay. If you keep saying that, you're gonna lose this argument. You at least had a winning argument with the Scout is cool.
The Scout is cool.
Yeah. Just leave it at that.
The Scout's
just
cool.
leave it at that.
The Scout's cool and the Jeep's going EV.
It's gonna sell like shit.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. We'll see you guys on Tuesday because this is a Thursday episode if it comes out when I need it to.
Plot twist.
Hopefully earlier.
Plot twist.
Go vote. Do your thing. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We'll see you guys in a few days.